Shedeur Sanders is the most polarizing draft prospect in the history of the NFL draft. With the hype and high expectations that is going to be bestowed upon him because of the last name on his jersey, everybody has an opinion about him. You either think he's going to dominate and ball out in the NFL, or you think this dude is going to fall off the face of the planet, and the only reason he's getting all this hype is because of nepotism, because of who his pops was. What do I think about Shedeur Sanders? How good do I believe Shedeur Sanders is going to be in the NFL? Look, to be honest with you, I believe Shedeur Sanders is guaranteed to be a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League. With his dad being Deion Sanders, I just don't see how in his genes he could be a bust. This guy has seen his dad, when he was a kid growing up, put in the work, see all of the blood, sweat, and tears that it took to be one of the greatest football players ever. And you don't get as far as what Shedeur Sanders has if you didn't have any game at all. He was one of the top 3 best quarterbacks in college football last season statistically. He put Colorado on the map along with Travis Hunter. Him and Travis are easily 2 of the best players that ever played in Boulder. And Shedeur Sanders, for him to put up the numbers that he has, regardless of having a terrible offensive line his past 2 years, he has shown the ability that no matter what the circumstances is, no matter what the situation in the game is, you can always count on him to come through. He just finds a way to succeed. And there are certain players that I give the benefit of a doubt to, even if they don't necessarily have a skill set that says they would translate to becoming an elite quarterback. Look, I get it. Shedeur isn't the most impressive quarterback prospect that we've seen. He doesn't have a great arm. He isn't the athlete that you expect him to be for somebody that shares the same blood and DNA as Deion Sanders, but he's a safe quarterback prospect. One of the safer quarterback prospects that I've seen come out in recent memory, because he's good in the most basic areas needed to be a functional starting quarterback in the NFL. He has good decision making. He's accurate throwing the football. He also has good decision making as well. Doesn't make a lot of turnover worthy plays. Doesn't make a lot of crucial mistakes. And also, he elevated Colorado to a level that they weren't at since the freaking 80s and 90s. And he's one of the best players to ever play for the University of Colorado, along with Travis Hunter. And he was one of the best quarterbacks in college football over the past 2 years, playing behind one of the worst offensive lines in the entirety of the nation, and yet still putting up godly numbers. Yeah, the stats are a little bit inflated because, Deion was trying to stat pad his numbers a little bit, but you don't have the resume that Shedeur has had, dominating at Jackson State, dominating at Colorado, if you weren't good. The numbers speak for themselves, and the film speaks for itself too. Like, when I see Shedeur, I see somebody that has a low ceiling but incredibly high floor. At his worst, Shedeur Sanders is going to be a top 15 quarterback. If he ends up not living up to his potential, you have another Kirk Cousins or another Dak Prescott. But if he ends up being as good as what I believe him to be going into the NFL, I definitely expect him to be a top 10 quarterback. Could he be an elite quarterback? Maybe, but I'm more so willing to bank on him being a really good quarterback. I think that being a really good quarterback means a lot, because that means that you could win a playoff game with a really good quarterback. You could win a Super Bowl with a really good quarterback. But Shedeur Sanders, to me, just looks like a lock to be a good NFL quarterback. At worst, he's top 10. At his best, he could be anywhere from the best to one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the game. Shedeur just has that X factor that you look for out of the quarterback position. You're looking for somebody that teammates trust, somebody that no matter how bad things may be going during the game, you believe that as long as he has a chance to win, you're never out. As long as he has a chance to get the ball in his hands last, you're never out of it. And that's what we see with Shedeur Sanders. There were so many times these last couple of years, especially this past season at Colorado, where Shedeur pulled a win out of his ass. With the way the game had went against Baylor, they should have lost that game. But Shedeur Sanders ends up making a great play, makes a great Hail Mary throw to LaJohntay, gets the game into overtime, and then Travis Hunter makes a big fumble to eventually seal it. Like, Travis Hunter didn't make Shedeur Sanders. You know, Shedeur Sanders made Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur helped Travis Hunter win the Heisman. You just can't win the Heisman with anybody throwing you the ball at quarterback. And there's a reason why Shedeur Sanders finished top 10 in Heisman voting. Shedeur is being overhated because of Deion Sanders. People are taking out their hate on Deion Sanders on Shedeur Sanders. You know, and it's just so unfair to me. You have to separate the kid from the father. The sins of Deion Sanders should not be on Shedeur. Shedeur hasn't done too many things to warrant always being classified as a locker room cancer, a red flag. We got guys like Jalen Carter, who damn near was responsible for killing one of his teammates drafted in the top 10, and yet nobody cares about it. I haven't seen anything about Shedeur Sanders getting in any accidents off the field, him getting arrested off the field. You know, for somebody who has so many character issues or red flags as what people claim he has, I don't really see anything from Shedeur that he's done off the field that screams, oh yeah, like this dude is just going to be a complete headache in the NFL. He's going to get his second contract and become Antonio Brown. Like, people just don't like Shedeur because he is outspoken like his father, but a little bit more quiet about it. And he just has this cockiness about him that really pisses people off. But listen, I want my quarterback to be cocky. I want my quarterback to be confident, because if you're not confident that you can make every throw, if you're not confident that you can elevate my team, that you can help elevate my franchise to a Super Bowl, then why the hell do I want you in the first place? I want you to believe that you're the best at what you do. I want you to believe in yourself. I want you to be cocky. I want you to be arrogant, because these are all the things that make Shedeur Sanders the player that he is mentally. Richard Sherman was cocky. People didn't like it. People don't like outspoken people. Nobody likes somebody that truly speaks their mind, and nobody likes somebody that's insanely flashy, that's in your face. Shedeur is in your face with it. He's flexing his rollie in your face. You know, he has the nice smile with those big bright white teeth. You know, like, people, I understand why people can kind of get turned off to Shedeur Sanders, but to me, I just think that the whole character issues are just nonsense against Shedeur to try to knock his value down. Any team that needs a quarterback that passes on Shedeur Sanders in the 2025 NFL draft is making a huge mistake. Unless you're passing on Shedeur for Cam Ward, you know, that's the only quarterback who can hold a candlestick in this draft class to Shedeur Sanders. But if you need a quarterback and you pass on Shedeur Sanders in the top 10, your team is making a huge mistake, because you're passing on somebody that's guaranteed to give you top 10 quarterback play. Y'all are overthinking this. Like, Shedeur knows what he has to do to succeed in this league. And like Jalen Hurts and Lamar, when they came out, they were two prospects that, you know, the physical traits were there. You know, good arm, good athletes, but were they going to be accurate to succeed at the NFL level? To me, I never questioned if Lamar and Jalen were going to succeed in the NFL because I believed in them due to their intangibles, because of their character, because I knew that they were going to be one of the first guys in, last guys out of the building. Intangibles mean so much when it comes to evaluating how these prospects turn out in the NFL. And 9 times out of 10, when you have a guy that comes from a football bloodline as rich as what Shedeur does, being the son of Deion Sanders, one of the most recognizable athletes in the world. Like, come on, man. Some quarterbacks are just destined to succeed. And Shedeur is one of them ones. He just has it all in terms of what you're looking for out of the face of your franchise. Somebody that's going to sell fans in the seats. He's going to sell merch. The fan base is going to rally behind him. Everybody's going to be talking about him. Like, Shedeur is built to handle the NFL. He's been preparing for the spotlight, preparing for what's to come in the National Football League his past 2 years in Boulder. You know, yeah, he's not the best quarterback prospect we've seen compared to what came out in 2024 and 2023. But, you know, I like Shedeur Sanders with the fact that he's not flashy because he knows who he is and he's not going to try to be something that he's not. He knows what his skill set is, what he does best, and how to get the most out of what he can produce the most.